Justin, back on board with traveling and going to the racetrack, that was the biggest thing. Truthfully, Justin and I wouldn't have ever changed. It was just one of those things. This schedule's brutal. He's got 2 young kids, and he wanted something different. So when we had to make the change, it wasn't ideal for both of us, but it was something Justin needed to do, and we were able to fortunately get him back, talked into coming back to the track, and I'm really thankful that him and his family and his wife are allowing him to come back to race with us, because we need it and our team are excited about it.
So where have you been so bad this year? Like, what do you feel like's been the struggle?
I think we definitely have had places that we could have maximized our finishing position. I think that's the biggest part, is maximizing our day, where we've lost, instead of the onesie-twosies that you can lose or afford to lose during a race, we've lost 10 spots on just, some communication stuff. I haven't really had awful problems with our cars or like the lack of speed. Obviously you always need more speed, but there's been times when we were running good. I think Richmond was a good example. We had kind of started going toward the front, and I was happy with the car, and man, we go to hit pit road, and there's a guy in our pit stall. We get boxed in, we lose 21 seconds on pit road, and our race is over, where we would have never went a lap down with the car that we brought. So just, it's just one of those things where execution is what I hope this change brings, is just being able to execute at the track, because I thought Keith was able to communicate with me on the car level and make good adjustments for the race cars. We just weren't able to execute, whether it was me or him or what it was. So now Justin and I have proven that we can usually execute together, so it's good to have him back, like I said, and hopefully the change is just good for everybody.
During Kyle's availability, he pointed to, as far as the short track specifically, you guys haven't been able to find the right feel, whether that's sim data not translating like you would expect, or things along those lines. What's been your perspective on the short track runs for RCR in this next gen era?
It's very tough. The very hard part is, you look at the original part of the next gen era, would be the Clash. We were very successful at the Clash. It's like the shortest track we go to. You go to other short tracks and we just don't seem to show up. And the other part of this is probably this year's aero package. Really kind of, I thought we had gotten a handle on last year's aero package for the end of the year short track racing. We always kind of, as a group, Chevy looked toward what the 5 was able to do last year at some of the short tracks. And then we changed the aero map, and now we're kind of lost again. And, I think it's a matter of time before we get back to where we need to be on short tracks. But like Kyle said, we're just not there. We don't have the grip we need. The front end's working like we need them to. And when you try and listen to your tools and they don't seem to correlate to the track, correlation's everything. So, I think our sim correlation has been something that everybody's looking at to try and get closer, because when we feel like we can trust our sim when we go to 1.5 miles and be prepared and run well, and we just haven't been able to trust our tools for the short tracks.
You mentioned that. This, but could you kind of talk about the reunion with your crew chief, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to have Justin back on the box. We've always communicated well. We've got each other's wins together in the cup level, so great to have him back on the box, and his engineer Joel too. It's been fun. I think all the guys, the morale is really high right now, and we know we got a lot of races to still get in the playoffs and take advantage of the reunion of bringing Justin back to the track. I said I was just thankful for his family and him to be able to want to come back and do the job.
You mentioned that he spent the past 2 years raising his young kids. How involved or plugged in was he with the 3 team?
Well, I think as involved as you can be. When you're not going to the track every weekend, it is tough to really have an influence over a race team. And also in saying that, from my standpoint, you got to give your crew chief, full attention and really believe and go down the path of whatever your crew chief believes in. And I think we did that. We really bought into what we were doing, and it just didn't work out, from the standpoint of, wrecks, a lot of wrecks that we got into. Not all this is, induced from setup or, it's just I think the communication of having Justin back on the box is a big part of it, and to see what we can do. But I think Keith will do a good job in the role that Justin had. So, they're pretty much swapping roles, and he can bring something to the table. But like I said, being at the track is so important to know what's going on in this garage.